Hi students, so last video we learned about endosperm development and embryo development. So that is a post-fertilization events, and today we are going to discuss about the seeds, how the seeds are formed from the ovule. So we all know that seed is a fertilized ovule, yes, and it's a final product of sexual reproduction, and it consists of seed coat. Here you can see cotyledons and the embryo axis. That is, it consists of plumule, that means which later develops into shoot, and radicle, which later develops into root. And here you can see the picture of a monocot seed and a dicot seed. Okay, and the cotyledons are simple, generally thick and swollen. Why it is swollen? Due to the storage of food. So the cotyledons are the seed leaves which mainly stores food and also provide nourishment to the developing plumule and radicle. Okay, and mature seeds are of two types. One is non-albuminous seeds and another one is albuminous seeds. So we already learned in the fertilization, two male gametes, that is male gametes will be there and one will fuse with the egg cell and form the zygote. The other will fuse with the polar nuclei and they form the primary endosperm cells, and in the endosperm development we already discussed. So endosperm will be developing first because endosperm provide all the nourishment needed by the growing embryo. So non-albuminous seeds means those seeds which have used up all these endosperm, that means no residual endosperm is there. No residual means no remainings of endosperm will be there. It is completely consumed by the growing embryo or developing embryo. So such examples are, such type of seeds are pea, groundnut, beans. Okay, and albuminous means there will be some remainings of endosperm. So they retain some endosperm, it is not completely utilized. So some examples are wheat, maize, barley, castor, coconut, sunflower. Here you can see some of the examples: bean seed, Pisum sativum, then corn seed, coconut, sunflower. Here you can see the structure of some seeds, and this is being given in your textbook also. And here in some cases, it's like in the case of black pepper, beet, etc., there the remnants of nucellus are also persistent. The remnants of nucellus. Nucellus means what? Which we already learned when we discussed about the structure of megasporangium, that is the ovule. So nucellus is the mass of cells enclosed within the integuments. Integuments means what? The protective envelopes around the ovule. Okay, and the nucellus also stores the food. So in some cases, in some of the seeds like black pepper and all, there the remnants of nucellus are also present, and it is called perisperm. It is called perisperm. Here you can see. Okay, and integuments of ovules hardens, that is, integuments means what? Protective envelope around the ovule. So that around a protective layer will hardens and it will form the tough protective seed coat. That is how the seed coats are developed. And it has a small pore, that is a micropyle. It has a small pore through which oxygen and water enter into the seed during germination. So that small pore in the seed, it is known as micropyle, that is through which the oxygen and water enter into the seed during germination. And you know the seeds when they mature, or how we are getting the seeds available in the market, or the farmers are storing, or in your house itself, how the parents you are storing the seeds. It is dry, yes. So as the seed matures, it becomes dry by reducing its water content. Okay, so the metabolic activity of the embryo slows down. It may enter into a state of inactivity or dormancy. That means you all might have seen the seeds, right? It is dry enough. when the dry seeds, when they get a suitable climate only, they will be growing or germinating. That means suitable conditions in the sense they need to get moisture, oxygen and the temperature. These things should be proper. That means the proper environment or favorable conditions as needed by the seeds for germination. So as the seed matures, they will go into a state of inactivity, or it is known as dormancy. And here you can see the seeds, and when they get suitable conditions, moisture, oxygen and temperature, they start germinating out. And here you can see the steps. And advantages of seeds. Just I'll read for you what are the advantages of seeds. So since pollination and fertilization are independent of water, and seed formation is more dependable, and better adaptive strategies for dispersal to new habitats, and it helps the species to colonize in other areas. We can grow in other areas also, and they have food reserves. So young seedlings are nourished until they are capable of photosynthesis. So as they consist of food reserves in them, so until the leaves are capable of doing the process photosynthesis, that is the preparation of food, so till that stage they can live by using the food reserves which is already in the seeds. They are a hard seed coat and protects the young embryo, as they are having a hard seed coat which will protect the growing embryo. And being products of sexual reproduction, they generate new genetic combinations and variation. So you know, as sexual reproduction, that means the male and females are fused together. So we can expect a new genetic combinations and variation in the new plant. And dehydration and dormancy. So dehydration and dormancy of mature seeds are crucial for storage of seeds. It can be used as food throughout the year and also to raise crop in the next season. That means as the dehydration or the dormancy, inactive stage, the seed goes. So it is very beneficial, and some of the food we are using it as food, and the farmers, they will keep the seeds of this season, and which later they will be using for the next season. So this dehydration and dormancy of the mature seeds helps the farmers as well as to store these seeds. And viability of seeds after dispersal. Viability of seeds after dispersal, and it may depends upon the species. Some few species will have only few months of ability or viability, and the others will be having more than 1 year, maybe hundreds of years. So some few examples are given here. So in few species, the seeds lost viability within few months, the capacity to grow. And the seeds of many species live several years. So here some of the examples are given which lives for hundreds of years. So some seeds can remain alive for hundreds years. The oldest is that of lupine, that is Lupinus arcticus. Lupinus seeds, here you can see Lupinus arcticus. They excavated from Arctic tundra. The seed germinated and flowered after an estimated record of 10,000 years of dormancy. So it's a great thing, that is the 10,000 years of dormancy, inactive stage, it is being able to give rise to a new plant. So that is the capacity, the viability of such plants is hundreds of years. Yes. So these are some of the examples which you need to keep in your mind, exceptions cases. So 2000 years old viable seeds is of the date palm, that is Phoenix dactylifera. So it's discovered during the archaeological excavation of King Herod's palace near the Dead Sea. So it's another example which is being alive for viable for 2000 years. So these are some of the examples which is having a long viability period. Okay, so it depends upon the species. It may be, the viability may be for a few months or maybe for years. Next, we need to study about the fruit which will be developed from the ovary, which will be discussed in the next class. Thank you.